Because there's just so much stuff going on, man. Like nothing uplifting, you know.
Got the good
Everybody
so,
got
you know what I'm
answers,
saying, for
you know, but nobody's
teach
pointing back
myself
to the
how to,
cross. You
I'm
feel
not
me?
gonna try, I'm
And I'm
teach
just like,
myself
man,
how to play.
if you ain't got nothing positive to say,
So
man, don't say it.
I'm
You know, and
gonna
that
just
goes
do
for me
like a
too.
little bit of,
Yeah, that's good, man. But you know, I wrote something in the lab. I want you to check out. You feel me? Yeah, this was on my heart here. Check this out. Tell them for the order, they all up in my face. Hey. Don't come any closer.
I think I'm gonna do a little bit of. Just a little bit of like what you would call like playing by ear, just to, you know what I'm saying. You too. I love you just found a guitar, and that one don't play. Cause I don't remember what the chords is, so yes. You teach me a lesson? I can. I'll see if I can teach you as I learn. You need a smaller one, I think. I need a smaller guitar. But we didn't go to the toy store to give me a toy. We just got new toys that I want for Christmas.
Read the crest. Stand down. I've been quested to bring this one back to its kind. This is no place for a child.
Listen, BC 1 D chord.
Okay, here we are for our look at our first chord. This is it. This is D. And this is the first chord that we're going to be learning in the...
So it's at the top. So it's here. So then it's here. Stop.
This little course. So what we're going to do whenever we learn a new chord, we're always going to do it one finger at a time, and we're going to start always with our first finger, then the second finger, then the third finger, then the fourth finger if we need it. So what I want you to do is just have a little look at that neck diagram, and we're looking for where the first finger goes. Now the first finger you'll see is there on the third string, because we start from the thinnest string. So 1, 2, 3, the third string, and it's in the second fret. So the double lines on the neck diagram, that's the nut there. This would be the first fret, this would be the second fret. So the first finger, the correct position is right here where you're watching it right now. Now make sure as well that you remember that the finger needs to be quite close to the fret, not like right back here, that would be bad. So up fairly close to the fret, not on top of it, that'll be bad too. So kind of just back here a little bit. So that's first finger out of the way. And also remembering that we're using the tip of our finger, don't try and put your finger down too flat. You're really thinking just on the very tips of your fingers there is the bit that should be holding the string down. Now if we look at the second finger, you'll notice that one is in the same fret as the first finger, but on the thinnest string. So it's kind of going underneath. And again, making sure that you're using the tip of your finger there. That one shouldn't be too hard to put down. Now, the last one, third finger. Now, third finger is going in the third fret of the second string. So the string in between the ones where the other two fingers are on. So, and you can, just a good way of helping remember this as well is that it kind of looks like a D. If you look at the kind of the shape of the notes, it kind of looks a little bit like a D. So that might help. Anyway, the thing that you might find now is that the third finger is falling right back here at the back of the fret, and really we want to get that third finger right up as close to the fret as we can. This is something that will take a little bit of practice. If it's hard right now and it's stuck down there, just keep trying to push it forward. Even if you have to get your other hand and kind of stretch it up, that's okay. But try and get used to that stretch and try and get your fingers in a really good position right from the beginning. Now what's really important when you're doing your chords is that you check that every note in the chord sounds really good, because that's the way that you'll make sure that your chords sound great right from the beginning and you won't develop any bad habits. So if you have a look at that neck diagram again, you'll see that the thickest two strings have both got an X at the top, which means that we don't play them. So what we're starting on, the first note we're going to be picking is the fourth string. Now generally what I say to people is to do a strum, a pick out and a strum. So starting from the fourth string, that's the kind of the third thickest string, we do a strum first. And if you're doing really well, it'll sound like that. If you're not doing so well, it might sound like this. Something like that, yeah? So what we're going to do now is we're going to try and tailor the chord and make sure that every note is sounding good, and I'm going to show you where some of the problem areas are for a lot of people. So, the first thing, the fourth good, and I'm going to show you where some of the problem areas are for a lot of people. So, the first thing, the fourth string. If that one's not ringing out very clearly, then probably the tip of your first finger is touching that string. So make sure that you bring your first finger down just a little bit so you get a nice clear fourth string. Now we're on to the third string, which is the one that's got our first finger on it. That one should sound nice and clear there. And if that one's not working, not a nice clear note, a couple of things could be the culprit. Most likely, your third finger is up too high and is touching that third string. So you just have to move that third finger down a little bit, and you should get that string ringing nicely. If it's buzzing a little bit, like that, probably your first finger's backwards a little bit too far. So make sure it's right up nice and close to the fret. Now we're on to this note here, which is the second string with the third finger. Most people don't have a problem with that note, actually, to tell the truth. If it's too buzzy, like that, it's because it's too far back from the fret. You might find it sounds like that. So if you get it right up next to the fret, you'll get it sounding nice. Now the hardest note for most people here is this one here with the second finger. Now the reason that most people find this hard is because the third finger tends to lay down a little bit too flat and mute the thinner string. So a lot of people get this as their first D chord. Yeah, and the reason is simply here underneath the third finger is touching the thinner string. So you've got to arch those around a little bit. Make sure they're right on the tips, and that'll allow that string here to ring out nice and clearly. Now, it's definitely worth spending a little bit of time now on trying to get your D chord so it sounds really, really cool. Doing exactly what I just showed you there of strum. Pick out the notes one at a time and then adjust your fingers to make sure that each one sounds good. So you might go...
Okay.
And then when you've got it and you know they're all good, then strum it again at the end. It's really important that you go through this process lots and lots of times to make sure that your D chord sounds really cool. So before we go on and learn any more chords...
So I just kind of learned how to do the D chord. That's how we'll do today. We'll work on some more stuff tomorrow. Put your stuff back on, buddy. As I said earlier, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm dealing with a lot. in what I'm pursuing myself and making in preparation and staying focused and grinding to get to the next level. Like it take that sometimes. So one thing, no hard feelings or anything of that nature. I'm just, you know what I'm saying, I'm just trying to get tunnel vision and get ready. Blessings.